Hello, and you're all very welcome along to the latest Champ.ie podcast, Ireland's premier horse racing podcast in association with Boylesports, Gowran Park Racecourse, EJ Menswear and Shamrock Thoroughbreds.
As they race up the hill towards the finish, Hark the Herald here on Perry Pass has absolutely bolted up under Paul Town, and Perry Pass won by wide margin. On the final 150 yards, it's Irish Point for Marie National, who's coming with every stride. They're going to the line. Irish Point, Marie National on the near side.
If you haven't already, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Champ.ie YouTube channel, as it helps to get horse racing content out there to the wider audience. We look forward to reading all your hashtag 5cast selections in the comments section below. Enjoy the show.
Boylesports. Don't just bet, choose wisely.
Hello, and you're all very welcome along to the latest edition of Champ.ie. It is episode number 36, and on this week's show, we look ahead to the action at Ayr with the Scottish Champion Hurdle and the Scottish Grand National to look forward to among the races this weekend. We have, of course, later on in the show, we're going to be announcing two lucky winners who are going to be making their way to the Irish Grand National, the Boylesports Irish Grand National at Fairyhouse on Easter Monday. And we are going to be joined by our very special guest this week, Adrian Keatley, who runs Cahava in the Scottish Champion Hurdle, who was third behind Sir Gino when last seen. Brian Hughes takes the mount on Saturday, and we've got a cracking show lined up, as always, Barry.
The Lord Bagnall hit up last night, of course. Great to see the pictures, and what a crowd in Loughlin Bridge last night to celebrate. Of course, Patrick and Willie winning the National, a 1-2-3 in the National. I don't think we'll ever see that again, Dave. And look, obviously the Scottish Grand National is the big prize money this weekend, but plenty of runners see the road to Cheltenham as well, with their picture of the Scottish port, Willie Mullins, descending upon Scotland this weekend. And look, plenty of Irish raiders. Not just about Willie Mullins as well. Gavin Cromwell is a runner in the first race. The Crawfords, of course, bringing over plenty of runners as well. So it's not all about Willie Mullins in terms of Irish raiders at Ayr, Dave, but Team Ireland, a big hand, of course, at Ayr ahead of the weekend. Look forward to catching up with Adrian Keatley as well later on in the show.
Absolutely, and of course, extraordinary if he goes on to win the Trainers' Championship. He was 600,000 more behind this time this year than he was this time last year when going on to win it. So it would be quite extraordinary. Right, let's kick on, because we're going to kick it all off. We're going to look at the first 5 races at Ayr on Saturday, and don't forget to put your selections in below on the comment section. We want to hear your thoughts as well and get your views on the big races. We kick it off, Barry, with the Premier Handicap Chase over 2 miles, the 110 on Saturday.
Yeah, just the 8 runners for the opener race won last season, of course, by Tommy's Oscar, and tended to favour horses last year coming from off the pace. This year it could be the opposite, in fact, because I didn't think there was all that much maybe pace early on in the race. Western Diego, obviously Willie Mullins is the only runner in the race, and yeah, he's a horse that obviously could be unexposed over fences. I think he was only beaten 11 lengths in a champion bumper by A Dream to Share as a young horse. And he's only had, in total, he's only had 3 starts over fences, 3 starts in bumpers, and 3 starts over hurdles. So 8 years of age, he's lightly raced, David. He's stepping back and tripping. Just thought the ground could be potentially against Western Diego. Not that much range due, just a winner update. Obviously good to soft ground at the moment. 2 mil due on Saturday, according to the Norwegians, Dave, from 2 p.m. So I thought he'd need all the rain he could get. He's stepping back and trip. Look, he could be unexposed, obviously, as we said. But the one I like is Etalon. I think it could say that Harry Skelton could off, and Dan Skelton could get off to a flyer at Ayr on Saturday. And I just thought this horse, the tongue strap goes back on. That's very, very interesting. And this horse is, he's been tumbling down the waist. He hasn't had a big day this season as of yet. Wind surgery, having his first run back after wind surgery as well. He's rated, of course, officially rated 135, Dave. He was pulled up when last seen. Tacky ground was the excuse given. But in typical Dan Skelton, fashion, it looks like he's teeing him up for one, one of the spring festivals here. And for me, I just think he's come down from a rating of 142 to 135. When he did win last time, it's interesting that he's stepping back to 2 miles, but his last victory over fences, he made all. And, he's been held up in almost all of his runs. I think 5 of his 7 runs start since he's been held up and has come from off the pace. So this could suit. I mean, if Etalon, a change of tactics here could be key. The nicer ground, I don't think it's going to be an issue. And he's just 4 pounds higher than when he last won in February 2024. So, as I said, he's been coming down the weights all season. Ettalon for me, 9-2. I thought that looked reasonable value. He's only 8 years of age and he's only had the 10 starts over fences. So Dan Skelton to get off to a flyer, but we're going to be hearing about Willie Mullins very shortly.
Yes, we certainly are. And it's a really interesting opening race, that. And I do agree with your thoughts as well in Western Diego for Willie, that could be unexposed heading in to that opening race on Saturday at Ayr. Right, let's move on to the second race on the card, which is the 143. This is another handicap chase. This time, though, we race over the 3 miles, Barry, in this one.
Yeah, over the 3 miles, and the horse that is, crying out for the step up and trip. Obviously, the owners would love a winner at the Scottish Grand National Festival. Of course, the McNeil's own Masaccio. And I suppose the standout piece of form for me, Dave, is that third place effort over 2.5 miles at Cheltenham in the plate. And Masaccio, he's been really, really consistent all season, but I do think he's a 3-miler, and the nice ground is going to suit once again. He placed before at Ayr, so he's run well here in the past. And, 3 of his 4 wins have come on good ground. So Masaccio, for me, he was a big, big eye catcher. He was certainly in the top 10 eye catchers at the festival for me. I think he really ran on well. He responded to the cheap pieces as well. They're back on once again. And, he's only beaten 3 lengths by Jaguar. I think the front 2 home of the plate were smart. And Jordan's as well, it's worth noting, was back in 5th in the plate. And he's come out and very nearly won a Grade 1. So the form looks good. To me, he would be the next best on the card at Ayr at the weekend. Alan King's only runner at the meeting. He does well, of course, when he brings them up to Ayr. And the pace in the race as well, Dave, it's worth noting. There is plenty of horses that like to, get on with it, and they will be up front here. This horse will come from off the pace, and stepping up to 3 miles, I think, is going to suit. Masaccio, for me, next best on the card, 11-4. What do you think?
Yes, I have to agree with you. I'd like your thoughts, though, on Loch Lynn. I thought he was an interesting runner in the race. I know everything Willie runs, look at the weekend.
Again, the ground, Dave. The ground for me.
Loch Lynn. It could be quite interesting, the ground against him, but wouldn't be one bit surprised if he'll push Masaccio all the way there. But I do agree with you. He does look the safest option in the race, Masaccio. And those 4 lines read very well from the runs at Cheltenham behind Jaguar, and looked as if, he's crying out for the step up and trip. And Alan King and Tom Cannon, I think they can take out the second race, Barry. Solid selection for that 143. Right, before we head into our first ad break on the show, our only ad break on the show this week, we've got the Scottish Champion Hurdle. What a race. We'll be hearing from our very special guest, of course, Adrian Keatley, who's got Cahanva with Brian Hughes on board. But Barry, break this down for us, the Scottish Champion Hurdle.
He's definitely interesting, by the way, Cahanva, for me, Dave, because, he was beaten third when last seen, of course, in Grade 1 company in the fight in 5th. That was a really good run. He's just 3 pounds higher officially. And you'd imagine, a campaign in the summer on the level as well. This horse likes nice ground. He's had plenty of racing, but he could run well at a big, big price. I actually think he's a live each way play in the race, but it's all about Ethical Diamond, isn't it, for me? I think he's the nap pick of the day in the Scottish Champion Hurdle. There's going to be prize money, I think, coming back to Close Sutton here for sure. And we mentioned eye catchers at the Cheltenham Festival. I mean, the standout piece of form once again for me is that 4th place in the County Hurdle. And he, to me, was definitely in the top 3. And he was a contender for eye catcher the entire festival. Ethical Diamond was never put into the heat of the race, held up off the pace, dead last, and sort of crept away out the back under the hands of Patrick Mullins. And, I suppose turning in, he had a lot of ground to make up, and by God did he make up the ground. He jumped the last like a fresh horse. He stayed all the way up the hill to finish 4th in the County Hurdle. I think he was only beaten 3 lengths by Cargiza in the end. So that's top class form here, really, Dave. And, looking at, I suppose, 144. He's only raised a pound for that 4th place effort. The handicapper, hasn't exactly been overly hard on him. I think he's capable of that. I mean, he's rated 96 on the level. I think going left-handed as well is definitely a positive. When he won a Punches down, he jumped slightly out to his left. So going left-handed on nice ground on a big flat galloping track like Ayr, I think it's going to be tailor-made for him. If there's any man high in confidence at the moment, it's Patrick Mullins. 11-4 for me, Dave. I think he's the nap pick of Ayr on Saturday.
Right, we're going to head into the first ad break. We'll be back with a look at our final 2 races, as well as hearing from our very special guest this week.
Yes, so hello, Barry Doyle from the Champ.ie podcast, Ireland's premier horse racing podcast. I'm here with my co-host, David Byrnes, and we're here in Sligo Town, David, in EJ Menswear, and EJMenswear.com. Fantastic season ahead. EJ has kindly partnered up with us to be the men's fashion partner with Champ.ie for the season. And David, we're suited and booted. You're looking sharp.
Yeah, well, thanks very much. And this fantastic bundle and this outfit we're wearing is costing $2.99. It sets you up beautifully for the racing season ahead, which includes Leopardstown at Christmas, Thyestes Day at Gowran Park, and of course, if you want to go even bigger, you can get togged out for the Cheltenham and Entry festivals later on in the season.
Absolutely, and of course, check out the Champ.ie podcast right throughout the season, Mondays and Thursdays, and look at the offer, the tailored bundle for the racing season, $2.99, blazer, shirt, chino, socks and shoes. What's not to like, lads? Check out EJMenswear.com to find out all the racing. Yes, and welcome back to the Champ.ie podcast, and a very warm welcome to County Kildare man, of course, originally from just outside Kilcullen, now training in Yorkshire since the pandemic. It's been absolutely flying for you over in, of course, the UK. Adrian, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, all going well. Yeah, we're delighted to be here, and things are moving forward.
Looking, I suppose, at your success in your training career to date, Adrian, obviously you've had Galway Festival winners, you've had multiple listed winners, horses placed in the Gimcrack, of course, we'll touch on that, and winners in France as well. I mean, I know you're dual purpose, but tell us about the operation at the moment, how it began, I suppose, in the UK, and tell us how it's been going.
Yeah, look, we came over here at the start of 2020, and came with two horses and built it from there, and it's been expanding and growing ever since. So look, we've had a bit of success. We'd like a lot more, but we're just about satisfied at the moment with what we've had, and we're just looking to get stronger firepower and more success.
And since January 2021, Adrian, I mean, just on the count here in the UK itself, I know you've had winners overseas, but 66 winners on the flat, that's in the UK, 33 winners over the jumps in the UK. I mean, you've been absolutely flying it. I mean, let's touch upon the big runner this weekend. He's declared, Brian Hughes on board, Cahava in the Scottish Champion Hurdle. I mean, it must mean a lot for a stable, to have a representative, let alone a chance. This horse obviously turned to Sergino when last seen.
Yeah, he's a big chance. He's been a superstar for us, and all the owners. The owners are all Scottish based. They're in Glasgow, and look, this has been the target for a while. To be honest, I was keen to send him to Dubai for a couple of staying races out there, but the lads were adamant to keep him at home and try and save his mark on the flat to go back to the Ebor and maybe give him a campaign over hurdles. And he's very efficient, and he's very good over hurdles. So look, I was totally in agreement with them, and this was the plan for a long time. So the ground is going to suit. We're on a nice enough mark, and I think we're on the competitive mark, and we're looking forward to it.
Through the form lines, I suppose. Look, he was obviously third to Sergino, but the favourite, Ethical Diamond, was fourth in the county to Cargiese, and I suppose Sergino, looking at the form from last year at Aintree, I mean, Sergino has beaten Cargiese, so the form kind of ties in, doesn't it?
Yeah, the form ties in, and look, he's in there with a fighting chance. He's a 10-1 shot, and I just looked at it literally a half an hour ago when I saw Dex in the Racing Post. He's a 10-1 chance, and the bookies don't usually be too far out. So look, he's in with a fighting chance, and look, we're more than happy with him at home. So we're looking forward to the occasion.
Other entries over the weekend, Gail Mahler. I mean, she was a listed winner as a novice over hurdles. Still a novice, is she?
She's still a novice till the end of this jump season. She's still a novice. Look, we're just going back into calmer waters with her. The last day, Kelso didn't suit. The ground was heavy. It was deep holding ground. And look, I think we're happy now that she's going to be a good summer mare and a summer jumper, and this will probably be her last run over hurdles, and she can go novice chasing then for the summer. And yes, look, she's been brilliant for the stable, so we can't fault her.
Expected a big run the weekend?
Yeah, look, she's back down in trip. don't think she stays the 3 mile. She was second in Musselburgh over 3, but I don't think she stays the 3 mile. Look, I could be wrong, and we might end up going back over 3 miles someday, but I think drop back in distance, back into a novice company, and we'll try and get a big run over there.
And other runners just on Friday, just to mention briefly before we move on to I suppose, horses that you're keen to run on the flat this season. Maclack and Belvedere Blast both entered up this Friday there.
Yeah, look, Belvedere has been a brilliant servant for us. So 3 miles is in his comfort zone. The ground will be in his comfort zone. So we're hoping for a big run. Look, in that class, he's a little bit out of his depth when we've dipped our toe in with him before. But look, he's in good form, and we're happy to have a go with him. Maclack, he was very unlucky in the county hurdle, in the Scottish county hurdle in Musselburgh. Probably didn't get the run of the race. Again, the last day in Kelso, the ground was soft and probably didn't suit him. But he's in good form, and he'll run a big race, we think.
But what about, I suppose, the flat campaign on the horizon, Adrian? I mean, you have a really seriously good record with 2-year-olds, Symbol of Strength, Ballymount Boy, Francisco's Peace, and we mentioned that turn in the gym crack, of course, as well with Symbol of Strength. I mean, have you anything of that caliber? Are you looking forward to any particular 2-year-olds getting them out in the early part of the season?
Yeah, we've a nice bunch of 2-year-olds this year. We've a couple of real smart colts, and we've a couple of nice fillies. We're really happy with them. We'll probably run our first 2-year-old on Sunday, all going well. We think a lot of them. He's a horse by Starman. He's called Star Material. So yeah, we're looking forward to running him. He seems to be very smart, and we've a nice filly there ready to run. We have a good handful of 2-year-olds that are very smart. They'll just be coming to hand at different parts of the year. But at the forefront of our mind is the fella on Sunday, and we've a filly to produce shortly that we think is very good. So,
What's she by?
She's by Star Spangled Banner.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on. And what about Symbol of Strength and Francisco's Peace? How are they?
Symbol of Strength was actually sold. He's gone to Hong Kong. So he's over there. And Francisco's Peace, we're just on the weather watch with him. He was ready to run. He was ready to run in Newbury this weekend if the weather went our way. But he does want a bit of juice in the ground, and we're very conscious of that. So we're just sitting on our hands at the moment, and we're just waiting for the weather to turn. I said to the owners the other morning, we haven't turned into Spain overnight, so it'll come at some stage.
Not to mention, Surrey Bell entered up in the Chester Cup, I see. How is she been? And she's kind of dual purpose, isn't she?
Yeah, she is dual purpose. Look, I had a feeling she wasn't right just going into Kelso. She was just a bit flat in herself. And look, the run told us that. But she was very impressive in her previous couple of runs. So yeah, she's coming back into form again, and she'll probably run and ripping maybe the last Saturday in April. There's a 2-mile race there and that'll be with a view to going for probably the Vase in Chester,
And Flying Finn, I think, deserves a mention as well. Entered up in the Suffolk Stakes, I believe.
Yeah, Flying Finn. Look, she's the same. She wants juice in the ground. She was ready to run. She was a bit unlucky in the Irish. Lincoln, in that she was just stuck over the far side in behind the horse that was making the run, and probably going a bit too quick for its own liking over the far side. Our plan was to come up the middle of the track, but that plan was scuppered by where we were stuck in the race. But yeah, she's in good order, and I mean, she's going to pick up plenty more prizes. But again, she's a soft ground horse,
Horse that really caught the eye yesterday, landed a bit of a punt, 15 to 8, it went off favourite, Green Pursuit. That done it very nicely, didn't it?
Yeah, and he was very green. He was green throughout the race. He was probably, the mid-race was harder for him than the last furlong, but we think a lot of him. He's working. His work is very good. And we think, he can go right up through the grades. 6 furlongs is his minimum. He was probably flat out a lot of the way yesterday, and as I said, this last furlong he looked to be doing the easiest. But when he steps up to 7, and even he might even go a mile in time. But yeah, we're happy with him, and he's a nice horse going forward.
How did he come out of it yesterday? Are we looking to get him out quickly again, or what's the plan?
There's no panic with him. There's no panic with him. I hope the handicapper is not going to be too hard on him, but there's definitely no panic with him. There's a nice racing ripping for him there later on in the month as well. So look, he's going to be a decent money for us for.
Super. Listen, it was absolutely super talking to you, Adrian. And I suppose plans for the year, goals. I mean, every season, I'm sure you set yourself targets. And I suppose new owners coming into the yard. I mean, I just see the sign behind and the number. I suppose the telephone is always, you're always welcoming, phone calls from prospect new owners.
Yeah, we've the owners group up and running there, and we've had plenty of success in the colours of the owners group. We've expanded this year. We've done a bit of developing here. We've a new barn up. So look, we're trying to drive forward all the time, and the more the merrier.
Horse to follow for the year, maybe one that we haven't already mentioned. Horse to follow for the flat season, or maybe over jumps for the summer campaign. What are you going to give us?
I'll give you a horse called maybe See the Power. He's going to be he's a 2-year-old, and he's going to be a nice horse. He'll start off over 6, but he's going to be a real nice horse over 7 furlongs. We think a bit of him. So and he's not a typical See the Moon, but he's by See the Moon, and he's a real nice horse, and he's ready to rock and roll.
Boylesports. Don't just bet. Choose wisely.
Yes, welcome back, and a big thank you as always to our sponsors. And Barry, you're going to tell us some more about a big weekend, of course, coming up at Gowran Park.
Yeah, of course, the Gowran Classic last year was a raging success, and mentioned for Gowran Park as well. Obviously, the flat season on the horizon. You see the schedule, and plenty of opportunities to, of course, get those tickets as well ahead of the June Bank Holiday weekend, the Gowran Classic Day once again, and the richest race run in Gowran Park all season. This is going to be a fascinating contest once again. Won last season, of course, by Dusty Foley, and of course Jessica Harrington. This year, I'm sure we'll have a smart winner once again. But just to mention for Gowran Park, Nick Rocket to win the Goffs Thyestes Chase and to go on and win the, of course, Entry Grand National Pictures last night. Didn't make it down to the Lord Bagnall last night, but Eddie Scally and the team at Gowran Park. It's a big result for Gowran, Dave, and Nick Rocket. I mean, he absolutely bolted up, didn't he, in the Goffs Thyestes Chase? I mean, we did say before the race, Dave, whoever wins the race will probably turn around and say that was staring us in the face. But Nick Rocket, unexposed, heading into the Entry National. Big result for Gowran, big result for Goffs, and Gowran Park, as you can see, the racecourse schedule up on screens for the flat season. Really looking forward to it. You can get your early tickets on gowranpark.ie. So. Big congratulations to the team, and they will be absolutely delighted with Nick Rocket's performance and victory at Entry, Dave.
Big thanks as always to Boylesports as well. EJ Menswear down in Sligo, and Stephen Thorne and Shamrock Thoroughbreds. What a great season he's had at Dundalk, and plenty more to come from him. Right, we move on. 2 more races to look at, Barry, and I'm going to come in here first on the 255. It's the 3-mile Mayor's Handicap Hurdle. My nap pick of the weekend runs here, and that is La Vida Adiva. Ruth Jefferson, Brian Hughes is on board. La Vida Adiva, last time out, ploughed through the last hurdle when winning at Kelso over 3 miles, but went on to win by 9 lengths. I think there could be absolutely plenty more to come from Ruth Jefferson's charge. Brian Hughes is on board. Was, I thought, very impressive last time out. It's currently a 7-2 chance. I just really think La Vida Diva ticks so many boxes for this contest. 12-runner race on Saturday, and it's my nap pick of the weekend, Barry.
Best of luck with that one, Dave. The one I do like in there is the McPherson runner. And I know this is a horse that we've been tracking for a while, Dave. And I think it could still be better than its mark of 115. It's Rocola Vogue, this daughter of a jukebox jury. I thought she really impressed. She took an age to get going. She needed every single yard of 2 miles and 4 furlongs up Musselburgh on nice ground when winning last time. But I thought the standout piece of form, there was a horse I was really looking forward to seeing this season. And, obviously didn't work out for obvious reasons, but Let It Rain. This horse was second to Let It Rain, giving it £7 over 2 miles in the early part of the season. Now, I think Let It Rain last season, in bumpers, and even heading novice hurdling this year. I thought she was going to, take high rank amongst the British novice mares this season. And I just think that's a standout piece of form to bring into the spring and not to give up on. And, up to 3 miles, as mentioned, she needed every single yard of that 2.5 miles at Musselburgh. It's just their third start as well in handicaps. And off 115, Dave, I just thought Ricola Vogue at 7-1. She was the each way value for a stable who I think bring 2 to air at the weekend. And look, they're operating at a 29% strike rate at the moment. Lots to like each way for me on Ricola Vogue, as mentioned, on just their third start in handicap company.
Yes, another very interesting runner. I think we both might have had a few quid in Ricola Vogue actually last time it won as well. So an intriguing race, but I'm going to stick there with Knapp Selection in that one, Ruth Jefferson and Brian Hughes. Final race we look at, Barry, is the big one. It is the Scottish Grand National. I've been looking at it up and down, and I'm finding it very hard to make a lot of sense of it, to be quite honest. Have you come down on anything solid for the race? Obviously, Chosen Witness for Willie has been the one that's been strongly supported, 16-1 currently, a 5-1 poke in the race for the big one at the weekend. And Willie is very strong-handed, 6 runners in the race. But your thoughts on the Scottish Grand National?
Yeah, Sean O'Keefe booked for the ride. No Paul Townend, of course, at Ayr on Saturday. But Sean O'Keefe, look, what an opportunity for him, 11-2, Chosen Witness. But the one I like, it's that man once again. The party might just keep on rolling for Patrick Mullins. And it's Olympic Man for me, Dave, at odds of 7-1. And look, we said Willie Mullins, every time you think he's achieved something, he goes and achieves something even better. I'm not sure this would be a better achievement, but it certainly would be an achievement to get a horse to win on handicap debut in the Scottish National. And Olympic Man for me, Dave. Look, I thought he was a massive eye catcher. Made a mistake at a crucial time when running on to finish 5 lengths behind Dancing City on his handicap chase. On his first start over fences. That was at Punchestown. And this is a horse that, he's a lovely moving horse. I think Ayr, the nicer ground, could actually see this horse to better effect. And he's been racing on softer ground back home in Ireland. And as I mentioned, like last time, over 2.5 miles at Naas, if this horse is jumping holds together, I give him a massive chance off 142, Dave. He was racing over 2 mile and 4 when he won his beginners at Naas last time. And coming down to the last, you thought he was going to bolt in, but he made a crucial mistake at the last. But I love the way he rallied. He picked up nicely to go on and win. And all he did was stay. So for me, he's top of the shortlist. He's the number 1 each way pick in the in the Scottish Grand National at 7-1. The others on the shortlist, I mean, if you're talking about best recent piece of form, Haughty Calora is favourite for the Irish National. Rock My Way was only beaten a handful of lengths in the National Hunt Chase at Cheltenham. And Rock My Way is the Tizard's only runner at Ayr at the weekend. He's priced up at 8-1. He's contracted in price in from 14s. And that to me probably is the standout best piece of recent form coming into the Scottish Grand National. And Rock My Way, look, there could be more to come from him, Brendan Powell on board for the Tizard team. So 7-1 and 8-1. If you're looking for one at a massive price, Dave, target trainer Dylan Johnson on board, of course, not out of the race when it comes to the UK conditional jockeys title. Dylan Johnson taking the £3 off Our Power. Look, he'll have a big weight to carry. He's 10 years of age, ran a respectable race in the Aintree National, of course, last season. And I just think he could be down to a workable mark of 143 and had that prep run, of course, that'll tee him up nicely for the Scottish National. Like the ground. I think he liked the track as well. He's 25-1, Dave, if you're looking for one of the big price for Sam Thomas. And once again, it's his only runner at Ayr at the weekend as well. So I thought he could run well. That's Our Power, no stranger to big handicaps over marathon distance.
Yeah, well, one that might also run an each-way selection is this Doyle's runner, Sean Flanagan on board. Flash the Tuesday, and of course, who was last seen when winning very impressively at Limerick. That's a 25-1 chance with Boylesports, who'll have plenty of extra place value to be had, as well, of course, for the Boyle extra card holders. Money back on selected races if 2nd, 3rd and 4th over the weekend.
Boylesports. Don't just bet. Choose wisely.
Barry, elsewhere this weekend, is there anything else that stands out for you in the way of a bet?
Obviously, the flat season, David, is early days, but there was one that caught the eye at 8-1. I thought it was a good each-way bet at Newbury at 2 o'clock. This 3-year-old daughter of Night of Thunder, a horse by the name of Narda, I thought ran a big race, Dave, when winning, of course, on its sole start on the racecourse. That was 197 days ago. It was on soft ground. It's going to be nice ground, of course, at Newbury. At the weekend, but stepping up in trip to 7 furlongs. This horse done a lot wrong atá at Haydock on its first start over 6. And Daughter United Thunder, you'd imagine stepping up in trip as well as going to suit her to 7. And William Haggis has booked Kieran Fallon. So that's drawn in stall number 2. It's 8-1 currently, Dave. And I definitely thought that had a good each-way chance in that 2 o'clock at Newbury. So, as I said, it's early days in the flat season, not getting too involved, but certainly at 8-1, Narda did make appeal for each-way backers in that 2 o'clock. It's a Group 3. It is the Dubai Duty Free Stakes, of course, registered as the Fred Darling Stakes over the 7 furlongs at Newbury at the weekend. So anything for you, Dave, before we close off?
Yes, Barry, just won at Thirsk on Saturday evening in the 5:05, a horse by the name of Pabaros. Pabaros was hugely impressive, won by 5 lengths last time when going off 3-1 favourite over 7 furlongs. Ed Bethel's Charles, Callum Rodriguez. I really do think Pabaros is a horse to keep on side this season on the flat, and I think this will go very, very close for the Condition Stakes over the 7 furlongs on Saturday evening.
Absolutely. We do have that draw as well, Dave. We did promise that at the beginning of the show. And the Champ.ie draw, of course, the day-by-day videos. We were saying that you must have 3 winners or more at both Cheltenham and Aintree. And a long list of, we have to mention a couple here. Chris Benson got Honesty Policy and Caliph de Burley. And he the third winner on the card as well at Aintree. So he was in the draw. Aaron Clark, Imperial Pass, Lossiemouth and Sam Brew at Aintree. That was Aaron, qualified for the draw. And Chris Neville, Imperial Pass, Mercia, Lossiemouth and Sholin. He got 4 of the 7 up at Aintree. So big congratulations to Chris Neville. And he is our winner of 2 tickets to the Boylesports Irish Grand National. And once again as well, a big congratulations to Mark Lewis, who won the VIP tickets from the Cheltenham Challenge as well. Mark has been in touch. He's heading VIP to Fairy House on Easter Monday, courtesy of Boylesports. So very big thanks to everyone who got involved in all the competitions. And, we're not done with in terms of prizes. Our April prize draw will be at the end of the month. But once again, Chris Benson, Aaron Clark, Chris Neville and Cal AFC qualified as well for the draw. Richard Moylan, and a shout out as well to Alexander McRory as well, who were all in the draw. But Chris Neville, 4 winners. It'd be hard to beat that, Dave. But looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Looking forward to a cracking weekend of racing and the very best of luck with your bet selections this week. See you soon on Champ.ie.
Boylesports. Don't just bet, choose wisely.